leadership, and I know this for a fact, like leadership is not, for everybody listening, leadership is not a title, it's not a tenure, it's not an amount of experience, it's not a salary. It's really a way that you present yourself and are able to lead people through adversity and difficult communication barriers, all of those things. And I think that moral obligation speaks to you because I think like that feeling that's in the pit of your stomach that constantly is like, there's a nagging feeling like something is missing. You're not in your calling. You're not operating out of your purpose. You're not fulfilled. Like you got all the right things that says you should be fulfilled. Like you have a nice house, you have a car, maybe you have the husband, whatever. You got all of the staple pieces that says,
right.
But then there's still like this sinking feeling like, but that itch is just like not scratched. And I think that to Zig Ziglar's point and to yours, like it won't be scratched until you fulfill that moral obligation of like leaning into that thing that you are being called to lean into.
So feel me when I bring it, sing it loud. I'm from the loot and I'm proud, run a mile for the cause. I'm right.
Hi guys, it's your girl Nahama, your favorite Jew from the Lou. Welcome back to my podcast. And today I am so honored and excited to have Jazmin Wheeler. Welcome.
Hi. Thanks for having me. I'm so
Looking
excited.
fabulous as always.
Because trying to keep up with you, Nahama.
Oh my
Got your
gosh.
hair done and all the things, and I'm just like, I gotta figure something out.
No. Literally, like, let me just say, we met through Babes in Business. And like, I have just been wanting to have you on for so long.
So
For
excited.
so many reasons. First of all, not to be just such a girly girl for a moment, but like you look so good all the time. Like you're always put together. And what I really like about your fashion sense too is that I never know what your style is going to be because you're not just one niche. Do you know what I mean? A statement. Like every time I see you, I'm like, there she is. You look so put together, like so Vogue. I just love it.
And the funny thing is, the insecurities that run through my mind every time I get dressed.
Are you serious?
Yes.
I would never know.
Every single time, I'm just like, oh my God, that looks stupid. But you know what? I'm already running behind, so we're just gonna go with it.
That's how I am with my eyeliner.
Like,
it turns out way more dramatic than I intended. Why we're rocking this
but
today.
it's always good because I never am able to wear a wing. Like it just, and then like I don't know. I guess my eyes sweat. I don't know, but it just
No, it's
like
true, but
happens to
yeah.
like feel like stamp itself, and then
Yep.
I have a weird like black mark right here, and I'm like, you know what? That it's not for me.
No, it's
Some
true.
girls can do it, and I'm not one of those girls.
There's so many factors to that. It's like the setting on your skin combined with like finding the right eyeliner.
Yeah.
Just a shout out in case anyone wants to know what I use. It's called Better Than Sex. That's the brand. I know.
Okay.
I'm not gonna lie. I was at Ulta and I bought it just for the brand name. I was like, Better Than Sex. I'm like, okay,
I mean,
bet. Let's try.
Right,
I'm
yeah,
like,
challenge
show me,
accepted.
show me.
Right.
Like, I was like, let me see. So, it's fantastic because it looks like a little felt tip marker.
Oh, that is cute.
So
yeah.
it really helps with guiding it. I mean, obviously, because it's the same style that I do every day, at this point, it comes more naturally, but it definitely helped with the learning curve.
Okay.
And then I also, it's just something about that brand. It's phenomenal.
Okay. I'll have to look for it.
Or if you get a small angled brush and dip it in, like get it wet first and then dip it in some black eyeshadow. Instead of, it creates more of like a smoky look. You could do dark brown too if you want a little more natural.
Okay.
And that's how I first started doing it.
Okay, well, challenge accepted. I'm gonna try it. Like, now how am I telling you this?
Yes. I hope it works.
Okay, me too. I mean, yeah, I've not been like doing any wingtip, so
yeah,
always trying something new, so it's fine.
I think it was the Babes in Business 2 months ago.
Okay.
It was a tinted polish, I believe was the name of the business we were at.
Mm-hmm.
And that particular one was really special because you were just starting to make that leap into doing the leadership coaching that you're doing now. And you were leaving corporate.
Yes.
And anytime I hear someone say they left corporate, my ear, I feel like Dumbo. Like I just get really, I'm just like, okay.
Why?
Because I left corporate to pursue my dream.
What did you do before?
I worked corporate for 8 years.
Doing
graphic design, marketing.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think you I vaguely remember that. I think you told me that before.
It's funny because sometimes I just play it off and tell people, I'm like, I'm a barista, I'm a podcast host, but like if I really wanted to be like put my professional hat on, I
Yeah.
would say that I worked for a Fortune 500 company for the first 4 years out of college. Then I was in the internal marketing department for a commercial real estate company. And my
Mm.
last graphic design job, I was a senior graphic designer for an advertising agency.
Wow.
So
Yeah, you could lay on the qualifications if you wanted
I could
to.
sound professional if I wanted to. Well, let's be real. I'm just a girl,
Yeah, okay.
just a girl trying to figure it out.
I know. Oh no, that
Yeah.
is special to hear because at the last Babes in Business, which was at Glow 30,
Hmm.
everybody went around the room and said, especially the coaches, they were like, well, I did this for this amount of years and I worked for this company and I didn't do that. Like, I'm a leadership coach and I focus specifically on workplace professionals, especially women who are overcoming exhaustion, blah, 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 blah. I go down my spiel and I say that. And I'll leave it at that and I move
Yeah.
on. I say my goal and I move on. But everybody after me that was like, well, I'm a leadership coach and well, I'm a some kind of coach and I got in this because for the last X amount of years I was doing this. And so and they go through all of their background like and qualify themselves. And at that moment I realized like I didn't. And so I backtracked, like, after everybody went, I was like, "Oh, I didn't qualify myself, like, here it is, this is why I'm qualified to do that."
Yeah.
And then I'm just like but a part of me kinda wrestled with that because I'm like, "Do I need to qualify myself? Like, is that necessary? I'm just a girl trying to figure this out."
Hmm.
My tenure like, leadership and I know this for a fact, like, leadership is not for everybody listening, leadership is not a title, it's not a tenure, it's not a amount of experience, it's not a salary. It's really a way that you present yourself and are able to lead people through adversity and
Hmm.
difficult communication barriers, all of those things. And I know I'm qualified in that sense because I know how to do it,
Totally.
but I just never
It's an
qualified myself.
energy.
Exactly.
It's absolutely an energy because like I said, I could tell you all my qualifications,
Yeah.
my read off my LinkedIn profile page,
100%.
but the reality is how did I feel when I was
Mm,
working that job? And
yeah.
did I feel like a leader? I felt like I had the qualities of being a leader, but I wasn't doing my calling.
Yeah.
I was good at my job, but I wasn't doing my calling.
100%.
And like there were times when I wanted to step into leadership roles because I've always been drawn towards leading others and inspiring
Mhm.
and I just when I'm passionate about something, I love to teach,
Yes.
and like guide the way. And I see objectively from a big picture about business and how it can do better.
Yeah.
But like I remember I had an old boss was like, I think when I was talking to her, when you're trying to convince them to make you a leader and give you the
Yeah.
promotion. And she was like, I just don't see you as a leader.
Mm.
And in my head, I'm like, bitch, I'm an Aries.
Like
Like,
now
what?
her foot is completely in her mouth because you are leading in a very powerful way in
Yeah.
this industry that you're in. So
Well, it was
it
funny
doesn't
because
just look one way.
no, and I had started my podcast shortly after that, and she was like, you show up totally differently in your podcast. Like, I see a side of you that I had never seen before at
Mm,
work. And I think that's really to your point, where it's like, it doesn't matter degrees, it doesn't matter how many years, it doesn't matter what your title is.
yeah.
It's all about, are you doing what your soul's calling is,
Yeah. Mhm.
There's a quote by Zig Ziglar,
Okay.
which is if you have an idea for a business or a product and it's not currently in existence, it's your moral obligation to
I
make it a
remember we talked about
reality.
that. That is so good.
Yeah. And I
Mhm.
think until you have that about that
Mhm.
moral obligation, and you have to because life gets.
And I think that moral obligation speaks to you because
Hmm.
I think like that feeling that's in the pit of your stomach that constantly is like there's a nagging feeling like something is missing. You're not in your calling. You're not operating out of your purpose. You're not fulfilled. Like you got all the right things that says you should be fulfilled. Like you have a nice house, you have a car,
Hmm.
maybe you have the husband, whatever. You got all of the staple pieces that says
Right.
but then there's still like this sinking feeling like, but that itch is just like not scratched. And I think that to Zig Ziglar's point and to yours, like it won't be scratched until you fulfill that moral obligation of like leaning into that thing that you are being called to lean into. So
Yeah.
I think that's really good.
So let's dive into your story because I know a little bit of behind it, but I want the audience to hear
Okay.
about like you came from a corporate
I
background.
did.
And it's funny because you are leaving it, but at the same time, you're going back and helping women who are in that industry.
Yes.
So what's the story for
Because
you?
like I don't think everybody's calling is to start their own business.
Mm-hmm.
Some people are called to work in corporate. But I think two things can exist at once. Two things can be true at once. Like they may be called to work in this space and they know that they're not like a business owner or a coach and maybe they are, but maybe they're not. Like maybe they like what they are doing, but their people leaders are draining them dry, literally sucking
Mm.
the life out of them.
Yeah.
And that was true for me. To be real honest though, and if this gets long-winded, like please redirect me. But
Sure.
to be honest, like I've worked at all the cool jobs, but I don't know if a lot of people have ever known it. Like I worked at Disney World, I worked at the Emmys Foundation, I've worked at CNN, I've worked at Amazon. I
Wow.
worked at the companies
Yeah.
like that people are going to college to work for. I've done it. And each time I was like, oh, this is it.
Wow.
Like, I got tired of the same things over and over again. I got tired of I don't even know how to explain it, but like you go to college, you follow all the rules of life. Go to college, get good grades in school so you can go to a good college, so you can get a good job, so you can get a good house, so you can have a good family, so you can do all those things. And then every time I reached a milestone, and I'm not trying to sound ungrateful because I'm grateful to God for all of the opportunities that I had.
Yeah.
But it was like almost anticlimactic. Like I did it, but like, okay, like what's next? Like every time
Yeah.
I got there was always a what's next. Like, and then even when I got into these companies, I didn't like how people led me. Like I didn't feel like they were adaptable to my learning style. I don't feel like they really tried to get to know me. I don't really feel like I was heard. I don't ever feel like my ideas went anywhere. And I can be very insightful. And maybe it was the way I presented myself. So I'm going to own some of it. I'm like not the victim here. Like I know that there were some things that I could have done differently. But I also know that I did not like the way I was led in any
Hmm.
scenario. Maybe one, maybe. They're good people that I've worked under and I love them. But in general, the overarching theme, I don't like the way I was led.
For sure.
And in some capacities, I didn't like the way I led other people.
Mm.
And so for me, it was just like, I don't want to follow y'all rules because I don't like them and they're pointless.
Yeah.
Like because they're
Yeah.
more about like earning the bottom line.
For sure.
And if like my idea did not earn the company money in the immediate term or like within like a foreseeable future, then it was like fall on deaf ears.
Mm-hmm.
And for the way that I knew that people wanted to be led around me based on like the conversations that I had and like just the complaints in general, I'm like, I know how to fix this. Like I know how to fix this, but I'm not gonna be able to fix it under somebody's thumb.
Right.
I'm gonna always have to fix it according to their rules of fixing things.
Right.
And just was like, well, okay, well, if you want to fix things on your own according to your way, then you have to go out and do it your own way. You can't have it both ways in that sense. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where I
I relate to so many like elements of what you're saying
am.
because it's true. It really limits your creativity a lot of
Yeah.
times when you're working corporate
Oh my gosh, yes.
because another thing that I personally have found was that a lot of the not necessarily entry level but base level employees,
Yeah.
good people, good hearts,
Mhm.
super intelligent, like
Mhm.
in their niche, right? Like
Yeah.
they're just and then you have the bigwigs,
Yeah.
right? Not even necessarily founders, but like VPs, managers, whatnot.
Mhm.
And let's just say that when people get to certain positions and it's not gotten there by hard work and earning it,
Mm.
like whether they slept to the top because that happens,
Oh my gosh.
or nepotism,
Mm-hmm.
or just it's all about who you know, right? Like if you grew up in the upper echelons of society
Yeah.
and like your uncle is an angel investor in someone's company, so then you get a VP position making 80 grand a year
Mm-hmm.
when that maybe shouldn't have been the case.
Yeah.
That kind of thing,
Yeah.
it really is a deterrent, you know? And then
Mm-hmm.
maybe you don't have the self-worth and self-confidence because you know you haven't truly earned your position.
That, and I think that a part of it is like the gift of gab.
Mm-hmm.
Some people can talk the hands off. Like some people just talk very well, and that
Mm-hmm.
alone gets them the promotions.
For sure.
Or
But if
some
the
people
actions don't
are,
equal,
yes, or some people are really good at the metrics, but are poor at people leadership. And
mm,
because we live in a capitalistic world, like as long as those metrics are earning us money and helping us be more efficient, we'll promote you, even though you are trash to other people. And so you have, like, to your point, like those big wigs, those executive levels of people, like maybe they did all of the things you talked about or none of the things you talked about, but maybe they're really good talkers, or maybe they are really good at the metrics. And then all of the rest falls by the wayside because at the end of the day, you still have those good people throughout the company that are not being led well
or not
because
being heard.
or not being heard.
Yeah. Because sometimes it's like for for both examples, let's say, if, for example, it's someone who's promoted or just given leadership that shouldn't be in that
Yeah.
position, hasn't earned it, sometimes there's low self-esteem. And so then they
Ah.
don't want to hear anyone less because they're like, it makes them question their
Oh,
worth.
that's so good.
So that's one element. And then the other element is kind of what you're talking about, to your point, where there's someone who, like, in their field is really good at what they do,
Yeah.
is really adding to the company, and the company
Mhm.
wants to keep them. So they give them promotions,
Yeah.
but then maybe they're really good employees, but that doesn't equate to being really good leaders.
Okay. That's valid too.
But in the
Yeah.
corporate world, that's kind of the whole point, is to get to a leadership position because that's all about,
Oh,
that's where the
esteem.
yeah, that's where the self-esteem is. That's where the money is. That's where the jobs that have the highest value
Mhm.
are, right?
Mhm.
But that doesn't necessarily mean you're a leader.
Yes.
Yeah.
Agreed. Which brings up an interesting, I never thought about it until you just said that, but it brings up an interesting idea that maybe in corporate, we don't all like all the jobs that to be like pursued doesn't have to be leadership roles, like formal leadership titles.
Hmm.
Maybe they can just be getting a promotion as an individual contributor. Like they should
Truly.
exist in, because like we talked about, leadership isn't just titles, salary, tenure,
Hmm.
experience, job title. I already said that, but it's not that. It could like maybe you're not a people leader, I think is what I hear you saying. Like
Correct.
maybe you're not a people leader, but maybe you're a project leader, or maybe you're a
Hmm.
creativity like leader. I don't know what that looks like or what the word for that is, but there are different ways to lead um that you don't have to, be a people leader. Maybe actually people leader should be the top role because like that's the most precious and that has
Right.
the most potential of like burning people out and turning your company from good to bad if you don't lead your people well.
Right.
So maybe that should actually be like,
A different structure.
yes, agree.
Yeah.
Hmm.
That would be an interesting thing to see how like that would play out, you know,
I don't
like
know if it would exist because it doesn't go according to their,
correct. So that's, I think that's where entrepreneurs are born,
yes.
right? I mean, some people start off just knowing, hey, I've got an idea, I've got a passion, let me go for it.
Hmm.
Me personally, I wasn't an entrepreneur by nature. Well, in a way, I was. I guess when I think back to some of the things I did as a kid, but as a young adult, I wanted the security and the stability of a 9 to 5.
Yeah.
I wanted to
100%.
have my weekends. I wanted to
Mhm.
have my evenings.
Mhm.
I wanted the benefits that came along, whether it was health or 401k.
Yep.
And I liked the boundaries to a certain extent, like clear
Mhm.
cut of like, this is what you need to do to succeed.
Yeah.
And if you do X, Y, Z action steps, you will get a promotion. You will get more money,
Yes.
right? So the problem is when that doesn't equate out and it doesn't fill your soul. And
Yes.
there's a certain point where it's like, let's say, for example, the first job that I had, the company got bought out.
Yeah.
Marketing is one of the most disposable departments. That's the first one to go in an acquisition,
I didn't
right?
know that.
Yeah, because marketing, for example, super incredibly important for a corporation, but it's not actually directly bringing in money like sales would, for example.
Mm.
And technically, the big conflict in the corporate world with marketing is, do we really need this whole team or can we just get one person to do it? Now with AI, do we really need a designer or could we just use Canva? And you
Mm.
know what I mean? So it's like valuing the roles. It really takes a certain type to understand and appreciate the value.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's also like, should we outsource it? Do we need
Yep.
an internal one? Can we just get it from an agency?
Yep.
You know?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of dynamics and movement and flow, and every company's needs are going to be different.
Yeah.
But yeah, if a bigger corporation buys a smaller corporation and they already have a marketing department, are they going to keep that marketing department? You
Yeah.
know?
Right.
And like one thing we both have in common is we're both faith-based, right?
Yes.
And so, like, after I lost my first job, I had been working on my faith in general beforehand
Yes.
because you have to. If you wait till you're in trouble, then you'll really be in trouble. Like
Yes.
you need to have your tools before it
Before.
breaks down.
Yeah.
So I just came up with this quote back then, and it's something I've lived by since, which is I don't believe in job security, I believe in God security.
Ooh.
You know, you can't put your faith in man because I think we've all had the experience of
Yep.
there was a great working environment and then one thing changes, whether someone leaves, there's a new person who comes in, or sometimes overnight personalities seem to change.
Mm-hmm.
It happens all the time.
Yes.
And so it's like, I truly believe that I will always be provided for. And that was when I finally took
Mm.
that leap because I had friends who were entrepreneurs. And I remember how jealous I was
Yep.
of their passion,
Yes.
of their purpose.
Yes.
And ultimately of wanting to make a difference in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, I really don't think my flyers are making a difference. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
Like I tried to make small differences and just being kind to my coworkers and things like
Yeah.
that. But in terms of real impact,
Yeah.
sometimes you just know you're meant for more,
100%.
but you don't know what that is. And
Exactly.
that's the worst.
Yes. That just
Hmm.
fine. And so that's where I come in because
There you
like
go.
the people that I work with, they know that they are meant for more, but they don't even know what it is or where to start. And so
Hmm.
the place that we start is self-awareness.
Mm.
Because first we have to look inside. Like we got to take inventory of the stuff that's in there. We need to purge. We need to like consume. Like there are a lot of things that we need to do because we are multi-dimensional beings.
Yeah.
And so we start with self-awareness inside, but then we also take it like outer core self-awareness. Like how do you come off to people? Did you even know?
Ooh, that's
Do
powerful.
you know how you show up in conversations?
Mm.
What do people in your room think of you that they would be so scared to tell you? What are they not telling you? But they would tell an anonymous survey if I took it.
Wow.
Ooh. And that can be
Right.
scary work.
It's very scary.
It can be empowering and it
Yeah.
can be a little daunting because it's just like, oh my God, what are you about to say? And
Wow.
like, you tell me in a private room so I don't get clowned, please. But
So how I mean I could understand. I love this.
okay,
I could understand from an internal perspective, like being self-aware.
yeah.
How does one go about finding that external feedback?
100%. So a part of the process that I do is called STI 360 STI 360, but it's basically it's an assessment where like if I were using this in a corporate setting. So say for instance, like a corporation paid me to come in and talk to a leader in their organization. What I would do is I would take the 5 to 7 closest colleagues around them, including their boss, maybe their skip level manager, and then like some of their colleagues. And I would ask them a list of questions like, how do they
Wow.
do in this area? How do they do in this area? And it's, a hefty survey. And then I will also do interviews. Like, we'll sit down, we'll have an in-depth interview, and we'll figure out like, okay, so, and then after I gather all this data, then I'll go back and I'll find like the common pieces. Like, most people say that you're not a really good listener. You tend to cut them off a lot.
Mm.
Or most people say, like, you're really hard to give feedback to. Like, you get defensive, or you have a scowl on your face, or you're not listening to, or it could be positive things like, did you know that people think that they're one of the people that they one of the voices that they seek out when they're in a meeting. Like, it could be a range of things that you're not leveraging because you don't know. And so if I were to do this individual, like say for instance, a corporation did not pay me, and I was like working with you, for example, then I would go and get 5 to 7 people closest around you.
Wow,
And I would say, do the same process. It would be a lot less formal because we don't have to go through the red tape of corporate, but
for sure.
we would do a lot of the same process. And we can say, Nahama, one of the strengths that you aren't leveraging is, you're a great conversationalist, and, people feel heard around you. And like, what ways can we use that strength that you're not using it already? And so
Totally.
it's just going through like these different channels, but mainly to understand like how you come off to people is talking to the people around you. And so a program that I actually just ended with a client, because it was not as formal, it was not a corporation, like this is an emerging leader. And so the things that I had her do, go and seek the feedback yourself.
Mm,
Go to the toughest person that you know,
mm.
that's the most critical person that you would be scared to hear their feedback about you, and ask them, like, is there anything that I can be doing better, differently, start doing, or stop doing?
Wow.
And it's simple as that, because a lot of the times we don't care to, we live in this culture of like, we don't gotta care what people think. I don't care what nobody think about
Victim
me.
mentality.
Yeah, I don't care what
Yeah.
nobody think about me. Y'all just hating. Okay. But maybe what if some of the things they're saying,
It's good feedback.
right? It's actually true, and like something that
Yeah.
could be worked on. And so I leveraged
Wow.
that underused tool to say, well, here, we care about what people think of us, not in the way that we make it our God, or that we idolize it and we like live our whole life based on what people think, but also knowing how we present ourselves to other people makes a huge difference in how we reach our purpose, and
Yeah.
you know all of
Yeah.
that.
And you just never know because, like, I didn't have you to guide me when I was
Yeah.
going through this transition of my life.
Mhm.
But when I was working corporate, I got into trouble a lot
Yeah.
for taking too many coffee breaks and
Okay.
chit-chatting too much with people.
Okay.
And what I love about being an adult in the grown-up world
Yes.
is that you can take a perceived weakness and turn it into your strength,
Yes.
right? So
100%.
like now I'm literally making coffee as a living
And
and
chit.
being a podcast host, and it's
Yes.
my strength. And
Yes.
that's what I'm good at,
Yes.
like, oh my goodness, HR, she and I met up at a party recently and she was just laughing with me about like what I'm doing with my life right now. She's like, we could not get you to sit at your desk. Because I have raging ADD.
Yes.
And
Okay.
I was just like, oh my God, work is so boring. And I just like love people and I just want to get to know everyone. So like it was like a 3-story building. And the little groundhog arcade game where you try to hit it.
Yes.
They're like, that was me. They didn't know where I was gonna pop up next. Because I would just take my little laptop and I would just randomly sit in random departments.
Yes.
Just
Oh,
because
I
I felt
love
like
it though.
chit-chatting with them that day.
But I think that is a part, like, this brings up such a good topic, because I think like people see that as a weakness, and it's not.
But
Because I
leadership didn't
call
want that.
but I call that cross-functional communication,
Mhm.
and leading across.
Well, yes. So here's the funny thing
Yes.
from both angles, right?
Yeah.
So leadership hated that I did that.
Because they would rather work in
They
silos.
want me to sit at my desk and like take minimal breaks. Sometimes when we sat upstairs right by leadership, they like if we took too many bathroom breaks, they would report it to your
That
manager.
would get under my skin.
It's hard to work effectively in that kind of environment.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you one aspect that they didn't see was that because I was just chit-chatting with everyone, I knew everything in that company.
Yeah.
I knew all the drama, I knew all the tea, I knew when people needed things, so I was able to be proactive about different marketing needs because I'm like, oh, well, our department can help you with that. Oh, you need that? Let me help you. And it's
Yeah.
like Sometimes it's better communication wise than
Yes.
doing a Teams message or an email, you know?
100%. Like that is one of the workshops that I've been trying to put together because I want to host one, but it's talking about like breaking down silos. I think these corporations have gotten so used to like working in silos, like marketing department, you work in your marketing department.
Exactly.
Accounting, like you have your corner in the accounting department, and sales and all of the other departments, you work in your department, and that's the
Except for
end
the
of it.
Christmas party. Then they're like, why
And
does
then
no
now
one like each other?
nobody talked like I've never seen this girl. And it's
Yeah.
like a huge like communication barrier and a huge barrier in general, just like I feel like is going to be a failure of the modern day workplace is working in silos. And I
Mm,
think people that are able, like the kids like me at the lunch table, who I didn't sit at the same lunch table every day.
yeah.
I sat wherever
Me too.
I wanted to sit that day.
Yeah,
Like I didn't have an anchor table. Like I
for
mean I could
sure.
have had
So it
one.
sounds like we were similar in the fact that we were both popular, but not cool
Yeah,
popular.
exactly.
You
Yeah.
know?
I was not the cool, popular
I
cheerleader
wasn't cool.
girl with the
No,
perfect curled ponytail. I was
no.
not that girl, but I
Right.
was the girl that knew people from every single thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's very important for effective communication and effective problem solving.
Yes.
Because if you just work in your silo, like for example, exact same thing that you were just talking about. Like if I was working on something in the development, I worked in lead learning and development. That's kind of where I get this thing. But I worked in learning and development for a long time. But sometimes a problem with the things that the people I was teaching was learning started at the safety desk. And I now have to learn how to build a relationship with a whole different department because something that I'm having trouble overcoming is starting here. We're not on the same page. So now I do take my breaks in the safety office, or now I do go and chit chat and drink my coffee with the safety people
So
because
smart.
now we have to build this relationship because it's a problem that's affecting us both. And
Yeah.
so I think that cross-functional or that cross-departmental communication is extremely important. And don't even get me started on
Yeah.
breaks, but let's keep going.
No, I'll tell you a
Like,
fun story. My friend Marissa and I, shout out to you, Marissa, if you're listening. We became work friends at my first corporate job.
okay.
And part of how we bonded was that majority of people at this Fortune 500 company, oh my gosh, they're like 40 years in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like everyone has kids, they're married, and we're like the only two young 20-year-olds there for the
Yeah.
most part. And so this is just so delightfully young 20s thought, but I'm like, isn't it so sad that we have to be at work? Like, shouldn't we make work fun? Let's do
I
something
know.
fun. So, like, the first company was called Aegeon. So, like, they had pipeline and infrastructure. So, we worked internationally with all the major water, oil, and gas
Oh,
lines,
that's
which
fun.
was really cool. And the headquarters was here in St. Louis, out in
Okay.
Chesterfield. And so there was over 500 people at that location, but over 5,000 worldwide.
Okay.
And there was two parts here in St. Louis. There was the corporate workers, right? You got HR, marketing, auditing, all that,
Mm-hmm.
and then accounting. And then on across the street was like all of the like blue collar guys, if you
Yeah.
will,
Mm-hmm.
right? And so there really wasn't much cross connection
Mm.
with them. So me and my friend convinced the VPs that we should like show our appreciation for them. So we would make them care packages.
Oh,
We
that's
called
cute
it our
though.
little mystery like bags.
Yeah.
We would like draw doodles all over them and stickers and stuff, like
Yeah.
the little lunch boxes you do
That's
for
so
kids.
sweet. Yeah.
And we would put little treats in there.
Mm-hmm.
And then we would deliver it to the different guys anonymously. And in there was a thing where it was like pass it forward. And
Oh.
so we would find guys who like their team was like, yeah, they're working really hard. They really seem a little burnt out. And then we would leave the little bags with them to build rapport and then for it to keep ongoing.
That is actually really good.
Yeah,
That's a really good idea. And I mean, it's a really effective way to show appreciation and to
totally.
build that connection. And I think that I feel like in a lot of corporations, they found a way to like cookie cut that to where the whole point of it is lost.
Mm-hmm.
Like, yes, now we have the tumblers with the company name on it, and the sweater with the company name on it, and all these things. And it's like good. Like, yes, I appreciate that because this is sweet and, cute and thoughtful. But like the soul of it is gone. Now
Mhm.
we've even found a way to like efficient this. Like everything is about like
Right, it's too professional,
it's
like,
like
where it
rooted,
needs to be a
yes,
little
very
messy.
rigid.
It
Yes.
needs to be a little messy, you
Yeah.
know? Um, yeah, it's interesting. It's definitely I have a lot of I'm very grateful that I got the opportunity to work corporate.
100%.
I just think there was a certain point when I just had to move on.
Yeah.
And it's like that's what Steph was saying at that first meeting that I really remembered, which was that like she says with her clients a lot of times there's like little whispers of the universe,
Yes.
little hints that it's time to move on,
Mhm.
right? And if you don't listen to that on your own accord, you will quite literally be kicked out, like fired. And then you're like,
Mhm.
wait, what happened? It's like,
Yeah.
it's literally what you asked for. And so it's like you have to have that certainty beyond logic in those moments,
Yeah,
you know?
100%. It's definitely I think we talked about this, but entrepreneurship or finding your passion, your purpose, or pursuing that moral obligation, that unction, if you will, it is definitely a spiritual process. And
Mhm.
you have to be tuned in to be aware of that. And I think that's also, just where we talk about self-awareness, it just all goes back to being aware. Um, yeah, just situational awareness, self-awareness,
Totally.
yeah, all of the above.
There's a lot of faith. And I think like the analogy of like planting seeds is
Mm.
like a really good one too.
Speaking of planting seeds, something that's kind of just been weighing on me, and I'm thinking, I'm not 100% sure yet. So this will be my second year doing it. Just having a word of the year, and I've been
Yeah. It'll be my second year too. What
okay.
was yours last year?
The one last year, it was kind of like a two. Well, it was not everything is about you, and that's
Okay.
literally what I learned this year. Everything is not about you. Even following your dream, it's not about you. It's about how the overflow is going to bless everybody around you and
Oh,
change.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, so it's not all about you. But this year, I'm still waiting to hear from the Lord on this and like get the confirmation, but I'm getting it in these little conversations that I'm having all over the place. Is that this is one giant garden.
Hmm.
Garden is the word. Like, and being a good steward of the garden is like what I think I'm learning coming into next year is like we're all individual plants, like God's plants. He even talks about garden so much. The Garden of Eden is where
Hmm.
Adam and Eve started when he talks about he's the vine dresser, and he will prune the way he sees fit. Like everything is so many references to gardening in the Bible. And I don't know about it's the Torah.
The Torah, yeah.
Torah? Okay. It's I don't know about the Torah. I don't know a whole bunch about it, but I know in the Christian Bible there are so many references to gardening.
Hmm.
And I think that's my word for the new year is garden. Um, but you were saying that to say like he plants these seeds and like the way you kind of steward was like the fruit that's trying to be bore in you, like the fruit that you bear, the way you steward this, like are you plucking the weeds, are you like getting enough nutrients, are you consuming the right things, are you in the right environment, are you too under too much of shade, or are you too under too much sun, like literally, like how are you growing, how are you growing? And so like I think that like goes back to what you said. It's just like we are all seeds
Hmm.
and we are all called to bear fruit one way or the other. And if you're not careful, you're gonna die a little sapling before you reach your full bloom.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just like taking heed to those whispers and like being careful about how the environment you're in, or you're constantly putting yourself in, like is that helping you grow or is it stifling your growth? And I think being aware of those things through your mood, your mindset, the little unctions you feel in your stomach, body language of other people, are people constantly turning away from you every time you walking up? Like there are so many things that I think are need to like a person has to be aware of in order to like reach their full potential, that reaching your potential and like living into your purpose is not just to be treated flippantly. It's not something to be taken lightly. It is
Mm-hmm.
something that requires a lot of intention and deliberate action, and I
Yeah.
don't think a lot of people know that. And so yeah, I think I'm here to
It's a practice.
help them know that. Yes,
It's a practice, and having a coach, a guide,
I
makes
know.
all the difference.
I am the, and I'm not just saying this as a shameless plug,
You're
although
like
I
a
am a
gardener.
coach.
That's
Am
what
I God?
you're a gardener. That's the
I would
confirmation.
love
I would love
that title nothing more than anything because I do
because
not
you
have a green thumb.
nurture,
I don't have a green thumb at all,
but
but I
you
always wanted
nurture
to.
others. And so a previous guest told me about this book, which I haven't read.
Okay.
And I think it may have been more on the premise of how people respond to trauma in different environments and like why some
Hmm.
people can flourish and some people flounder
Yeah.
in the same environments.
Yes.
The book is called The Orchid and the Dandelion.
Can you please text it to me?
I
Okay.
will.
Oh, I think you would. Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
I think I had mentioned this at our
Yes.
pregame, but the concept is like some people are like weeds, like the dandelion. They can survive any environment. They will grow come hell or high water, right? Like they will flourish.
Yes.
Then you have the orchids that need the right environment, the right temperature, the right care. And
Mhm.
it's like one is not worse than the other.
Yes.
It's just all about what do you need? And
Yes.
that's like why a coach could be so great because
Mm.
there's so much to unpack with that. Going on TikTok and getting like some basic, here's how to be the best version of
Overarching.
you.
Yeah.
It's like, but for you, custom tailor made, what's going to be best for you?
That-
Life is fast, but every now and then, you deserve a pause, a moment that's just for you. At Le Cafe, we believe that each cup of coffee should taste like a little bit of luxury. Handcrafted and locally roasted here in St. Louis, each of our single origin beans are carefully selected to give you the most unique and smoothest experience. Whether you like a light, medium, or dark roast, we got you. For those busy mornings, or for my coffee lovers who prefer efficiency, we also have K-Cups. So go ahead and pour yourself a cup that tastes like self-care. Visit www.lecafe.us to bring the cafe experience home. Le Cafe, you deserve it.
That's such a beautiful way to say that. First of all, so many keywords. Custom tailor made just popped in. I don't know. That was a very illuminating word for me. But, and I'm not, like I said, I'm not just saying this as a shameless plug, although I am a coach and I am accepting clients.
Yeah,
But I'm a huge advocate for a coach and therapist. I have both.
they're
And
different roles.
I will 100% for the rest of my life have both. I am
Mhm.
going to budget for both for the rest of the days of my life.
Wow.
And I think that to your point, like, yes, sometimes you can use it as a crutch. But for me, like, the work that I'm doing is so important to me. And I think it's so important to God that I do it and I do it well and I steward this well, that I always want to have that open feedback loop. Like, hey, you're veering off course. And I have that in the Holy Bible and I have that in my relationship with Christ. And I think he's put these guardrails around me because the path is narrow and it's easy to get off track and get a big head and get
100%.
egotistical. But I choose to surround myself with people that are going to
Mhm.
no, no, no. Have you thought about this? Have you thought about approaching it this way? And even if I have to invest in that to because I think like one thing is important. My mom told me when I was young, this is not the advice, but my mom told me when I was young, always be careful who you take your advice from.
Yes.
Are you going to take your money advice from a person who's like constantly overdraft?
Mhm.
Or are you going to take spiritual advice from somebody who's an atheist? Like, be careful about who you get your advice from. And because, like, the feedback that I constantly want to take in because that's so important to me. Like, I'm not gonna just like leave that to chance. Like, I am going to invest in making sure that I have people around me that always can keep me sound.
Yeah.
In addition to the tools that God gifted me, which is intuition, Holy Spirit, the Holy Bible, all of the things. But it's something that I'm truly invested in, and I would 100% recommend it to anybody who asks. I'm a coach now, and I am a coach. Like, I have two
Yeah.
coaches now,
Yeah.
and I am a coach. So, like, I'm not just telling you this, guys, so you can spend your money with me, but I'm just saying, like,
It's because you
it's gonna take you to
believe
the
it
next
at your
level.
own core level. You're like, you've
Yes.
seen on a personal perspective how much having a coach has affected your life.
Yes.
And now you're passing it on because you also have coaching leadership abilities and you want to share the
Yes. And
wealth.
I wanna be the best coach that I can
Yeah,
be to the people
absolutely.
that are meant to be my coachees.
And I think it's you wouldn't be called to it if it wasn't meant to be, right? Like
Yes.
I'm really a big fan of Kabbalah, which is like Jewish mysticism.
Okay.
And one of the things it talks about is the fulfillment comes before the desire.
Okay, can you break that down?
So like it's like, for example, your desire to teach is because there are students who need you. There are people who need you, right? There
Oh,
are
that's
clients who
so
need
deep.
you, right?
Yes.
And so like they've just been waiting dormant, if you will, right? But they were meant for you. It's like a soul thing, just like friendships, just like
Ooh.
romantic connections, just like workplace relationships. Like, like the teacher has to be there before the student can come. You know what I mean?
That's so
Thinking about
good.
like a classroom, like my mom's a first grade teacher. What is she doing in the summer? She's prepping the room. She's getting it ready for the kids. She knows they're coming. She doesn't know exactly the dynamics of how it's going to be, but she knows those seats will be filled.
Yeah.
And so what she does is she creates the classroom. She studies. She has the curriculum. She has her own advisors who she goes to. It's literally the
Mm.
same thing, you
Yes.
know?
Yes.
There's this really beautiful analogy that I had forgotten that I loved about gardening that I'd love to share.
Okay.
It's a cute little story.
Okay.
So there was a bunch of apple seeds that were underneath the ground, and it's super dark. And one of the apple seeds, he's like the leader apple seed,
Okay.
and he's like, "You guys, I heard this crazy story. There's this place up there, and it's like there's this big thing of light, and it's really warm, and it makes you grow, and it's awesome." And then he's like, "Then there's this other thing where like when it gets too hot, it just goes." Shoo, and then it just goes, shoo, and then it cools you off, and it's amazing. And like if you get really thirsty, then there's like this wet stuff that comes from the sky, and it quenches your thirst. And it's like all the needs, everything you want, like it's all there. I'm telling you guys, it's gonna be awesome. And the rest of the apple seeds are like, come on, what are you talking about? Like, look around, it's all dark. There's no such thing as everything you're talking about. He's like, no, I'm telling you, if we push up, we're gonna get there. I heard if we keep pushing. So he's like, natural leader. He's convincing them all to go with him. Some of them decide not to go, they decide to stay, but a few decide to go with him. And then they're getting tired and it's hard and it's challenging. They're getting like,
Mm.
they're suffering and at every level is just getting harder and harder. And they're like, I don't know. Are you sure? Like seems even worse than before.
Yeah.
It's still dark. What are you talking about? He's like, no, I see the vision. I see the vision. And eventually, slowly but surely, like he keeps losing people. He keeps losing people,
Mm.
but he's so sure and he's like, I work so hard, I can't stop now, right?
Right.
And eventually it's just him. And he breaks through and he sees the ball of fire, it's the sun, and he sees the rain and he feels it and he sees the wind and he's like, oh, this is
That's
amazing.
so
And then
beautiful.
he's like, now I'm here. Let me go back and get my friends who are behind. Let me tell them it's real. We can get it. But then when he goes back down, they're all gone. They're all dead because apple seeds, if they don't grow, potential's gone. If they're not pushing through, they die.
Oh, I never
And
knew.
so he's growing but he's so sad because he's lost all his friends, but he's like grown and he's appreciating it. And then instead of looking down, he looks around and he sees a whole orchard of apple trees. And
Mm.
like everyone's, like him, they're the ones that push through. And then
Yes.
he's like telling them the story and they're like, yeah, we know you're sad that you lost all those people and like they're not there with you now,
Mm.
but look at the fruits in your arms. There's seeds and there's potential and there's so much more impact. Isn't that such a great
That's a
story?
beautiful
So,
story.
like, if we don't grow, we die, right? And it's like we try to inspire others around us and
It's
we want to
deep.
take them because once we see the vision,
It's like we want to take everybody around us, especially the ones we care
but
about.
the vision is a gift and not everyone has the gift.
Oh no,
But
that's such a devastating realization.
and there's nothing you can do to convince them. But what's really important is that you keep growing and you keep pushing. And what's crazy is just like with the when he became a little tree, Once you become a tree, you find the other trees.
Okay.
And that's the beauty,
Oh,
right? Like
okay.
that's what babes in business is for me. I should tell stuff that
This is actually so good.
and that's what babes in business is for me. That's what meeting other entrepreneurs is for me because I'm
Mhm.
like, I'm meeting other women specifically who are dreamers.
They're pushed through.
Who are pushing through.
Yes.
And it's like it's lonely sometimes as an
Yeah.
entrepreneur because you're like either people didn't see your vision or they didn't come along with you and
Yeah.
they're still living and you're like, come on guys, it's
It's
great
great.
here.
The
Come
water's
on.
fine.
It's like it's challenging, but it's better than where you are. Like, come with me.
Yeah.
And they're all just like, no, we're comfortable. We're comfortable. And like they'll never grow, they'll never be, but you'll
Mm.
find your orchard. You don't need to be with the seeds. And the other thing is like with the apple seeds and the fruit that are coming from you, it's all the future people that you will
Yes.
impact.
Yes.
So I just always love that
Oh,
analogy.
that is such an impactful story
Mm-hmm.
because I think it's true, and it's something that I had to learn in college. Um, like I never thought about it this way, but I guess I don't know. But something I learned in college, like everybody's not can't go with you.
Yeah.
And it sucks because I thought everybody had a vision. And maybe they do have a vision. I don't know if everybody has a vision. I don't know.
To an extent,
I don't know.
sometimes they don't.
And I didn't know that it could exist. That how could you not have a vision? Like
Do you know
I
Maslow's
thought
hierarchy of
God.
needs?
I thought yes. Oh, like so if those other needs weren't fulfilled, then we're not going to get the self actualization.
Some people are so stuck in survival mode that they can't get
Mm.
past it. Some of us are the dandelions. I consider myself a little dandelion, where like even though I've been in many seasons of just survival in my life, I've been gifted
Yeah.
vision.
Yes.
But not everybody who's in survival mode has vision. Sometimes they need to get, they're like, if only I could make the money, then I could,
Then they need to meet that need. But even once they make the
Right.
money, it's no guarantee that they're gonna
Who was the actor? I'm so bad at names, but he, Jim Carrey.
love Jim Carrey, even though he is a Scientologist.
Is he?
I think so.
They all are.
I don't know. It's weird. Like, come
But
on.
he
Guys.
said one thing that was
Okay.
beautiful,
Okay.
which was, I wish everyone could have all their dreams come true so they can realize that it's not what they thought they wanted.
Bruh, that's
Like
what we were just
success.
talking about
Yeah.
earlier.
What
Like
happened with
it's so
you?
anticlimactic. You like you
Yeah.
get to these like you work hard and you spend all this money and you do all these things. You go all across the country, you do all these things,
Can I tell you
and
a
then you
secret?
get there and you like, ah,
Can I tell you a secret?
don't ruin my entrepreneurship dream.
No, I
Oh,
won't. I won't.
okay.
No, the entrepreneurship thing is like, oh, I freaking love it.
This I love. Like I can do this.
love it. It's so hard. I've talked to other entrepreneurs and like it's so messed up. Only entrepreneurs get this, where it's like, I have so much faith in God because that's all I got.
Yeah.
Oh, it's like I don't know how you can be an entrepreneur and not have faith in something, like a
Yes.
higher power. Like you just, I
Yes.
need it. Like my faith has gotten so much stronger since I became an entrepreneur.
1,000%. Yeah.
But then also like there will be so many times where I'm like, I don't know what I'm doing. Everything's not working. I don't see the results of all my hard work.
Yeah.
And like, did I totally mess up my whole life laying starfish on the floor, staring at the ceiling, just questioning all my life
Patrick
choices?
Star. Yes.
And then I'm like, but I wouldn't change it for the world.
I'm not going back there,
I wouldn't
though.
change it for
Yeah.
the world.
Yeah.
And I'm just so grateful.
So what is the secret? Is that the secret?
No, the
Oh,
secret is I climb Mount Kilimanjaro.
I remember you talked about this. Yes.
And I got to the top. And this was months, years of me wanting to do it. I've been wanting to do it since I'm 29. I wanted to do it since I was 26. I trained, I fundraised for charity. I didn't get to the top in one day. It took me 7 days. Some at night, I started at 10 p.m. I didn't get up till 7:20 a.m. And I remember as I was getting closer and closer to the top, I was kind of hallucinating. So this might be part of it too, lack of oxygen. But I was like, I heard people woo, and I'm like, want to woo? I want to woo. That's what I thought. I brought my coffee bag to each camp and I was like, I want to have a photo at the top of the mountain if it's the last thing that I do, right? Prove everyone who said I was too girly and couldn't do it wrong. Even the
Yeah.
guides didn't think I was going to make it, but I
Yeah.
did. And I got to the top of that mountain and it was the most anticlimactic thing of my entire life.
No. Was it?
It was. And like afterwards, people keep like being like, oh my gosh, it's so incredible that you did that. It's so amazing. Once in a lifetime. And like I used to do that when I met other mountain climbers too. And I'm like, yeah,
That was cute.
it was cute. It was a hike, I guess, you know?
You want to know what? I've never said this out loud. And I'm feeling really, really vulnerable right now. So I don't know if this is the right thing to do or say, because I do
Okay.
advocate for it a lot and I do think it's true, but maybe it's just the destination I chose. In college, I studied abroad.
Wow.
I went to England and I was in a little place called Lancashire, which is like nestled in between Manchester and Liverpool.
Wow.
Super small town. It was cute, super cute town. And all summer I was like working towards it. Like I really hardly went with any money, like broke college student to my soul. Okay, went over there probably, I don't know, $300. I don't know. It was terrible. It was bad. But then I got over there and I got on this long flight and all of these things. And I got there and I was in the car to my college campus and I was like, this is what I'm about to spend months here.
Mm.
It was just like, and it was beautiful, like open green pastures, but it was gray. It was cold. It was raining because I went for fall. And I got there, I think, in August, and I stayed till a little bit before January. So I was over there for a long time. But I got in the car and I'm like, what did I do?
Isn't that wild?
But I made the most of it while I was there,
Right.
obviously, and I made it something to be excited about and something that I would always advocate for any college student or late high school student. But I was just like, oh. And I think for your point, like maybe it's anticlimactic in the moment,
Mm-hmm.
but I think what you learn, what you gain afterward is actually where the climax
It was the
is.
journey. For
Yeah.
me, summiting Mount Kilimanjaro was really cool in terms of like, I'll never forget the sunrise
Ooh, it's
because there was
just
no trees. There
beautiful.
was nothing. It was just a strip of red.
Yeah.
I'll never forget seeing the snowy cap mountains.
Yeah.
But I didn't, the feeling that I thought I was going to have, the sense of accomplishment, the sense of fulfillment, it was just more of like, I didn't even register that I was at the top of the freaking mountain. I was like, oh, we're here. We're done. This is it. Like that. I'm done. Like I'm done. Like I'm done. Like that was crazy. That like to be finished is like the most demoralizing feeling
Oh,
ever. But
yeah.
like to your point, what I took away from that trip is I never listen to when other people tell me what I can or cannot do.
Mhm.
You know, if I feel called in my heart to do something and I know I can do it, I will do it. I will do it at my pace,
Yeah.
but I will get
100%.
it done.
Yeah.
And I can do hard things,
Yes.
you know?
100%.
And I also learned that a lot of the things that people told me was going to be hard was not hard for me at all. So that's
Mm.
another big key thing.
You know what? I actually learned that something similar on a podcast I was listening to with Myron Golden.
Hmm.
He doesn't know me. I watch all his stuff. So Myron, if you're watching this, I love you. But he said something in a show one time or in an episode one time. He said, "Stop assigning difficulty to things before you even try it." Girl, I know.
I need to process
I know.
that.
It's so deep. Because we are, oh my God, that is going to be so hard. You haven't even tried it yet. And the person that's telling you it's going to be so hard, they didn't even do it.
Can I ask you a personal question?
Yes.
Because this is something that's been on my heart for a little
Oh my
bit.
gosh.
This is a totally different topic, but
Okay.
it's on topic of hard. I'm single
Okay.
with a desire to get married one day,
Okay.
and I'm a researcher.
Okay.
So a big part of what I do is I love to observe couples. I love to talk to married couples.
Yeah.
And something that I've kind of been talking to a lot of married couples about recently is, do they feel like their marriage is hard? Do they feel like not maybe their marriage, but that marriage in general is
It's
hard?
hard.
Because I've gotten varied responses.
That is such a good question. I think I was asked that a few years ago, and at that point I said it was, but I was now that have a different mindset about it, will my answer be the same? I feel like it can, yeah. I feel like it can be,
Okay.
but I don't feel like it's hard.
Okay.
I feel like it is a Oh, how do I say it? I feel like the hardest part is getting used to the fact that it's a self-reduction. I don't know if that's the right way to say that. I don't know. I'm sure it'll pop in my head after this podcast. But what I mean, the hardest part for you to understand is that it's not about you.
Hmm. Which was your whole thing
It's
last January.
not about you all the time.
Mhm.
Sometimes it is about you. Sometimes it ain't about you.
Right.
Sometimes you are going to pull more weight. Sometimes your weight is going to be carried.
Mm.
And like for me, I think what made that realization more difficult is because I have a stepson. I've been with my husband for 10 years. We've been married for a little bit over 5.5 years at this point. But I think that the difficulty was like, it wasn't just me making calls for myself anymore. Like the most difficult part was the fact that like I had to check in about things.
Yeah.
It's not just like if I want to go and buy a pair of $250 shoes, like baby, that's what I'm gonna do.
Mm-hmm.
But now it's like, and I guess like I don't have to check in, but it's more of
You're
like a
a
consideration.
consideration. Yeah,
This is
that's
like my partner.
yeah.
And what I do, it never has, and I think that's what people are also. I'll break it down, but your actions, married or not, don't just affect you; they're affecting everybody around you,
Whether you realize it or
whether
not.
you realize it or not. And when you get married, that realization is amplified, which I think people like miss, and I think that people realize that like your selfish actions are like it be like when you are selfish, like it is not just selfish to you anymore. Like you might have made it like before, you may have made a decision that hurt your future self. And like there's some you live with, you kick yourself, you down for a second, then you move on. But like if you make a selfish decision, especially if it's like a morally selfish decision when you're married, it's not only you're gonna be kicking your future self, you're kicking your current spouse, your future spouse, if that comes with a child that is not yours, it's kicking them, their current self and their future self. And all of the loved ones that sat at your wedding and spent money on gifts and
Mm.
believed in you and poured into y'all and all of the things that come with it and all of the things that they did, all of the resources that were poured into you guys is not just about you. And I think that is a very weighty realization. And I think that is what takes time to get used to.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the marriage part, especially if you chose the right partner, which I think that is going to be one of the most difficult parts of it because, like, you don't really know who you married until get real. Until y'all
Mm-hmm.
move in together, now you know this person to a different extent than you did when y'all was just dating and spending the night every once in a while.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a baby, that opens up a whole different level of like, I didn't know this about you. And then like when those life things come along, maybe I'll buy our first house. And maybe it got a lot of renovations. Now you know a different side of that person that you didn't know. And so like all of these different aspects about a person continues to unfold.
Mm.
And then but it's that constant grappling. It's not about me. It's not just about me.
Wow.
Like you say these, like somebody does something that irritates your soul and you just want to go and call them out of their name or like go and tell them in a harshest way, like you're annoying.
Yeah.
And that make you feel better in the moment.
But is it building the relationship? Is it going to
Is it
change
build that
anything?
person? Like, and you might say like you're being annoying right now, but in like you place,
There's ways.
there's
There's ways. It's
ways.
how you say it. My
Exactly.
grandfather would say it with love.
Yes,
Say
because
it
I
with
think,
love.
and I think that is most difficult for people who already have like harder personalities, like for them to
Yeah.
grapple with. Because we're going back to that thing of like, I don't care what nobody think about me. Relationships are gonna be hard for you, romantic or not,
Yeah.
because it's not about you. It's not about you caring what other people think. It's about how is that gonna land.
Right. It's interesting because there's many factors for like why I chose to still like stay living at home with my
Yeah.
mom. But one of them is I was self-aware.
Okay.
about my personality.
Okay.
And I felt that if I were to move out on my own, everyone's always like preaching like independence. I'm like, I'm a very independent person. I'm not concerned about my independence. If anything, I am concerned about my independence.
Now I'm gonna settle into this space, and
I'm
that's gonna be
I
it.
was
Yeah.
concerned. I was concerned that I would move out on my own, have my own place, and get so good with me and my ways that I could never be considerate of another person. Because
Ah.
living with my mom as an adult, two adult women living together, especially if it's your mom, especially if she thinks that you're going to respond and communicate in ways that you did when you were 12, but you are a grown ass woman who has evolved.
Rude awakening.
Trial and error,
Yeah.
right? Trial and error. Sometimes I told my mom, I'm like, if I could live with you, I could live with any man. Like, it's just, you know what I
Oh.
mean? Because
Mm-hmm.
there's just certain considerations. I mean, like, I'll be personal and I'll share just like a little example of like, it's not all about you, right?
Yeah.
If it were just my apartment, whether it's clean or messy, that's all me,
That's area.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But like to the person you're living with, they're going to be like, why are you leaving the mess for me? Why aren't you considering this? And like maybe I would have done something, but it wasn't in their time frame. You know what I mean? So it's all
Yes.
about that communication.
Yes.
So it was just one of those things where like I had been rushing that day and I guess the garbage was full. I didn't take out the garbage. I'll be honest with you, I didn't even notice it was full. It
Yeah.
was just one of those things where it wasn't on my radar.
Yeah.
She was stressed about something else.
Mm.
And the next thing you know, she starts getting like really worked up. And I'm like, I appreciate the communication. I agree. Like, I'll be more conscious moving forward. But I also know that something else must be going on, that you're
Yeah.
responding so emotionally about the garbage.
Yeah.
And it turned out there was something else she was stressed about, and that was kind of the
Mm-hmm.
scapegoat. So, like, there's so many
I love that
factors.
communication though.
Yeah.
And that just awareness,
Yeah.
like that situational awareness, like
There was two factors,
that's
right?
yeah. And I think that that is something like that's gonna be so powerful in marriage
Yeah.
because like there was a situation with my husband. So he's a full-time entrepreneur as well. And a
Nice.
lot of the work, so he does a lot of like floor restoration for commercial companies. And
Wow.
obviously you can't do that while they're there. So you have to work when they're closed. And which means like a lot of the times he works at night.
Yeah.
And one of the jobs that he talked about, he raved about like, oh, this is gonna be a small job. It's gonna take me a few hours. I'm like, is this gonna be an all-nighter? He's like, no, it's not gonna be an all-nighter. It's just gonna take a few hours because it's super small. I said, okay. He said, he'd be home by, I don't know, 2 a.m. Well, I think I woke up at 7 a.m. and I'm just now hearing movement in the kitchen.
Mm.
So naturally, like, because like past insecurities, I'm like, you've been out all night.
Mm.
So I didn't say nothing at first because I'm trying to remember it ain't all about you. There's some things that you probably don't know about, Jasmine.
Like, am I projecting my
Yes.
past? That
Hold on, wait.
self-awareness.
Yes. So I'm like, I didn't say nothing at first, but I think my body language said enough.
Mhm.
But I didn't say nothing at first. I just went upstairs, got me and the babies ready like we normally do. And then he started to be like like conversational. And I'm just like, in my head, I'm like, I know you're not about to glaze past this. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. You said you're gonna be at home at 2. Like, no, you're not just about to move on and change the subject. Like nothing is gonna happen. Like, if that's how you want to play it, that's how we play it. So I kept the conversation minimal.
Mhm.
Let you have it. And then something like he said something, and I'm just like, no. Because you said that you were gonna do this, and you did it. And at that point, like I kind of got like snappy because I'm like, now you're glazing past us. Now my antennas are really up. And then he was just like, yeah, I just really wasn't trying to talk about it. Like it pissed me off so bad that I can't even talk about it right now.
Wow, so he wasn't even thinking about consideration in terms of like how you're feeling.
Neither one of us
Right,
was.
because you're frustrated that you didn't have the communication, and then he's out in insecurities, and then he's like, I can't believe this job took so long. I'm just now home and it's 7 a.m. and I'm
And we're
pissed.
both pissed about different things.
Yeah,
And like it started
that's
to
so
bubble
real.
into an argument. And then once he broke the story down, and once I broke the story down, we met in the middle.
Mm,
Because in my head, I'm thinking like, you said it's 5 hours later. Like you literally didn't come home until the sun was up. Like
right.
how do you? And there's no communication. There was no text in the middle of the night say, "Hey, something did this, that, and the third that I wasn't expecting, and it's taken me a lot longer than I thought." There was none of that.
Yes.
But when I came in the morning, not knowing that he was already ticked off about something that had gone like crazy wrong with the job, I met him with an attitude, like
Right.
piling on to what had already pissed him off.
Right.
And I think like that situational awareness is like what gets people in relationships because they think that it's all about them on both ends.
Yep.
Like he was fully right. Like, I don't want to talk about it. And that's fine. Like, you don't have to talk about it. And I should have honored that. Like, I should have just waited till the rest of the story unfold like it always does.
If you were some angel, sure.
Yeah.
You know, like you're human.
But then also, if he was some angel, he would have texted me the minute things like, because the issue with the building is like it didn't have any ventilation and he lays wax. And so if it doesn't have any ventilation, it will not dry. And so he had to get creative, open all of the doors to the building, wait for the natural air to kick in instead of like central air conditioning.
my
Like it was a whole
God.
thing. So said all that to say, like, just the same experience with your mom. Like, you have to know your partner so well and intimately that when something just doesn't add up, you're able to either call it out in a way that's respectful and not going to rile them up more,
Yeah.
or be patient enough to let the information roll out without being defensive that somebody said something to you the wrong way.
Can I tell you, I'm so grateful that I didn't get married yet
Okay.
because the
Absolutely.
character development of learning to be where I'm at right now,
Yeah.
the self-awareness, the it's not all about me, wasn't there.
Yeah.
Wasn't there.
Yeah.
Not to say I would have had a bad marriage. I think it just would have been rockier.
But I think it still continues to develop even through
Oh,
marriage. Like it's
consciously.
never going to be
'Cause you're
100%
human.
and then you're like, now I'm ready to get married.
So Kabbalah is like this practice that I like to do. So one of the things it talks about is when you start to feel reactive,
Yeah.
right? You could feel that negative energy.
Yeah.
You pause. And the pause is so powerful.
It is.
And then you say, what a pleasure. What a blessing. And I have certainty beyond logic that everything's working out, right? So that's the angel, best version, highest functioning self of you, right? But in the moment, something that I've also applied is like, let's say, for example, using my mom and I as an example, I was able to pause. And because of the pause, I was able to be objective and say, hey, this isn't about me or her right now. There's something else here.
Yeah.
It is also an issue about the garbage. Noted. We'll take
Yes.
care of that in the future. But there's something deeper here. And because I wasn't getting all offended, then I could pause helps me
No, that's good.
to not react, right? But then the other aspect of it is I also acknowledge I don't like being yelled at. I don't like being talked to, and that's okay too. And
Yep.
even in your example, like so powerful to acknowledge that everything would have played out. You would have found out the full story. You trust him like he's a good man.
Yeah, he's a good
Your
man, Savannah.
your past traumas aren't his
Yep.
current situation.
Yep.
That's a whole separate thing.
Yep.
But at the same time, it is also okay to acknowledge that you were triggered
Yes.
and it bothered you.
Yes.
And you were frustrated.
Yes.
And your feelings are valid. And it's also so true that his feelings of being frustrated and
Yes.
him not communicating because he was so, pigeonholed on the issue at hand that he
Yeah.
couldn't even. God bless men.
I know.
They can't multitask. Like
Yes.
we're like everyone has a phone, you could text whatever, but like if they're dealing with something, they literally can't handle anything
I
else.
know. Yeah. I mean,
So
there's a good scripture that says we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but principalities and higher places. Meaning that I don't have a problem with Nahama. It's a spirit that is triggering me through Nahama, or a spirit that is triggering Nahama through me.
absolutely.
That's the problem. It's not me against you and me and you against the problem.
It's an opportunity for you to grow,
Yeah,
evolve.
because you got to understand, like, we live in a spiritual world, whether you believe in the spirit world or not. We live in a very spiritual
It's like
world.
gravity, whether you believe it or not, it
It
sure
it
is there.
it believes in you,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
so like there are spirits that are working even without us recognizing that they are at work. And sometimes they're at work for our bad. Like they want to see strife in our marriage. They want to see strife in our friendship. Like that's
Absolutely.
their whole existence, is to
Right.
create strife.
But if you can react what you guys did,
Yes.
then you level up and open up so much more blessings. It's like you
Yes.
leveled up. You
Yes.
leveled up in your marriage in
Yes.
that
Like you
moment.
have to Kabbalah. You have to pause to understand, hey, there's a spirit at work here that's against us,
Yeah.
and not react to it, but rise above it.
That's when I say like, oh, everything's an illusion. That's what I'm referring to,
Oh,
where it's like, I'm not denying existence, you know?
yeah.
It's just more about, I truly believe that like the whole purpose of this world is to be like the light, be like God.
Yes,
That's the whole purpose. So like,
100%.
how would God act? How would the light act? How would Creator act in
Mm,
this moment? And
ooh.
that's where it's practice.
No, I think that's really good.
Yeah.
So,
Something that I would love to touch on that we talked at the pregame that I think would be super powerful is um, everyone wants to build a village, but not everyone wants to
mm,
be a villager.
yeah. So, are you want to just talk about it?
Yeah, I want to talk about like
Um,
you introduced that quote to me, and I want to know like for you, what does that mean?
I mean, I think it's a culmination of everything that we've talked about.
Yeah.
Like, everybody wants a village. Everybody wants everybody to be there for them. If you see that I need help, you should help me. Like, everybody, even like now, we can see like, if it doesn't serve you, let it go.
Mm-hmm.
If it doesn't, it's all about you. It's all
Right.
about like, how can I be served in this moment? Does it serve me to showing up in this engagement? And I teach about the opposite of that. So like there is a duality in those statements. But everybody's just like looking to be served. Everybody's looking to be poured into. Everybody's looking to like just, to consume. We are a world of consumers. And everybody wants to be in a village of people that pour into them and allow them to be consumers,
Mm.
but they are never the ones that are pouring into others. They're never the ones that's considering how their words affect others. They're never the ones that consider like how do they show up? How do they come off to other people? They're never the ones that are willing to go without their favorite thing because somebody else said it was cute and they just give it away to them because they know that it's much more meaningful to that person than to them. They're never the ones that are willing to apologize and just acknowledge I was wrong and I effed it.
Wow.
They're never the ones that are seeking feedback. Like, what could I have done better in this situation? Differently, stop doing, start doing. They're ones that are consuming, but never the ones that are like output, like putting out. And so, yeah, I think like that's how it resonated with me. I'm pretty sure the person who came up with that quote, which I don't know who that is, he might have had a different meaning or she might have had a different meaning for it. But for me, that's what it means. Like
I love
everybody
that.
wants to be a part of a village, but nobody wants to be a villager. And I think it's important to understand that as a villager, the hospitality is real. You're gonna have to share some of your spaghetti. Like, and I got that from a quote from a book that I was reading a while ago. But like, you're gonna have to cook a big pot of spaghetti and feed people that don't live in your home.
Hmm.
If somebody compliments something that is like your favorite thing, but you see that it lit them up, like just give it away because you can probably afford it again. And if you can't, oh well, it'll come back to you in one way or the
Oh,
other.
100%.
Like just like all of those type of things that kind of go into it is really like what just struck me.
My life coach said life gives to the giver.
It is true, and I'm learning that
Hmm.
like more and more each year, especially now during the holiday season. Something that has been like in my brain nonstop um is better to give than receive.
Hmm.
And obviously, when you're a kid or in your teens or early 20s, you're like, my Christmas list is a laundry list, and I want
Yeah.
all of the things. But now that I know, like, I have toddlers and I see where half of their toys go, I'm just like, uh-uh. We're not having no big laundry list of things that we just need to receive because we have a lot of things that we've received that we are not stewarding well. And so what we can do is give some of these things away and lighten our own
I
loads.
love that.
Yeah.
And I think just the perspective, he said this as well, is like always be thinking like, how can I add value?
Yeah.
You know?
Mhm, that's really good. Yeah.
Yeah. And even, I mean, that's true in a friendship, in a romantic relationship, in a workplace setting,
Yeah.
to the world, if you want to make an impact. Like,
Mhm.
I think I saw something recently where it's like, I see a lot of people share on their stories all the woes
Yeah.
of the world,
Yes.
which as if we're not already aware. So it's like, thank you for bombarding my feed. I just wanted
Thanks
to
again
doom
for that.
scroll.
Yes.
I just wanted to be entertained. Um, but it's like I'm much more impacted by people who see a problem and find a solution.
Yes.
You know what I mean? It's like,
Yes.
how do we fix everything? Absolutely not.
Right.
But if you can do some good in this world, right?
Yeah.
Like when everything was going on with SNAP, and then like everybody was going and like
Yeah.
to the food shelters and giving food, and like there was so much community outreach in that way. Like that's what you do. That's how you
Exactly.
solve a problem. Can you imagine if everyone just sat there and be like, well, the government,
Yeah.
this horrible, horrible situation? Like, no, it's like they did something about it. And that's
Exactly.
that's that's when magic happens. That's when villages
I
come
think that's so
together.
beautiful because, like, that's what we should be doing anyway. One of the things that disgruntled me the most when I had a job was like, you have a lot of people that bring you problems and not many people that bring you solutions. And that was one of
Mhm.
the things that I drilled in my team's head, like, hey, I just got into work. I need 45 minutes to decompress before you come to me with a laundry list of everything that went wrong. If you do happen to have an emergency,
Mhm.
also bring solutions that you've worked through versus just piling it on me and then walking away and leaving me to figure it out for the next 10 hours. Like,
Absolutely.
stop. Like, it's not
Yeah.
productive.
And I would also add for leaders or for people who desire to be leaders, especially in the corporate setting, this is true everywhere.
Yeah.
Not only that, but don't assume that your good actions are being noticed. For example,
Okay.
if there was a problem and you found the solution, let your manager know.
Yes.
Let the leadership team know.
Yeah.
It's not bragging, it's just showing how you add value.
Yeah.
It's important.
No, I think that's really important. I think that's something I struggled with because I thought it was bragging. Like, I
Mhm.
don't need to be recognized for every little thing. But then when I realized that people who were very good about talking about themselves, once they were doing it and they were the ones that was getting the recognition and promotion,
Mhm.
I'm like, well, I guess I should probably say like, yeah, this was the issue and I helped to solve it, which I think propelled me. And I learned that a long time ago, but it propelled my career for sure. But yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's a very valuable statement.
for sure.
Hmm.
We've talked about so many different
So many
topics.
things. Okay.
As I always like to ask the guests because everyone we're barely scratching the surface of you and your story. And like
Yeah.
the more I talk to you, the more I want to talk to you. So, but
No, it
like
keeps going.
but I want to be like respectful of your time and the audience's time. And so to end,
Yes.
I have this tradition. There's
Okay.
this Hebrew quote, which is Eze Chacham Halomim Mikol Adam, which means one who is wise is one who learns from everyone. And we've learned so much from you. And
Mhm.
everyone should sign up for your coaching because you have so much to offer.
I know they're really good.
And like you can just see from this conversation, like my brain is in overdrive and you've given me so much like resolution on professional concepts but also even the relationship stuff. I'm like,
Yeah.
wow, like that was so beautiful, so
Yeah,
like thank you for sharing
of
all of that.
course.
But if you could share one last little bit of wisdom.
Um, I was wrestling with this for like the last 12 hours because there were so many things that I could say.
Totally.
Um, um, but if I had to come up with one, I think I'll end it with oh my gosh, this is so good. I don't know how I'm still wrestling with this. Okay, I'm gonna just say one. I probably regret it later because I think of a better one. But there's a scripture um, that talks about life and death lies in the power of the tongue, and that means how you speak, how you control your tongue, really either literally or figuratively can be life giving or it can cause death. And that's how you talk to yourself internally. That's how you view situations and the possibilities that are at hand. If you assign difficulty to it, like, oh my gosh, it's gonna be so hard. I'm not doing that. You literally just killed a dream just because you're
Mm,
not even controlling your tongue. Or if you can say, like, hey, I don't know what's gonna happen, but I have faith beyond
logic.
logic that it could work out. If God gave me the idea, I know all of my good ideas come from the Lord. And if God put it on my heart, then obviously he wants to see me do something with it. I don't know how it's going to look yet, but I know I'm up for the challenge. Like there are different ways to view everything, either in a life-giving way or in a way that kills, figuratively or literally. And so I think that that is probably one piece of advice or one scripture that kind of stuck with me. And I think, like, if I could overarch it, it would probably just be my gift of relationship with God. And I think that was gifted to me from my family at birth or probably before birth, and just like knowing his voice and knowing his true character. I think that was the greatest gift. And I think that scripture was a product of a gift that is continuing to give. So
I think that was the perfect scripture and quote
you think so?
because
Okay.
it encapsulates everything we talked about.
Okay,
You
yeah.
know, from
Mhm.
like communication of leaders to teams to the communication
Yes.
within yourself to getting the feedback from
Oh, that's
others
so good. I
to
didn't even
even
think about
talking
that.
about relationships and how you speak to each other, right? And
Yes.
it's like I'm not Christian. I'm obviously Drew from the loop, but but like I get a lot of inspiration from a lot of like faith-based content on TikTok and Instagram. And like one of the beautiful like it's not phrased this way in Judaism, but the way that like a lot of Christian like influencers have phrases that I think is stunning is they say like breathing life into like your
Mm.
partner, you
Yes.
know, and like
Mhm.
the power of that, how you can speak
Yes.
life, or as you were saying, speak death into something.
Yes.
So, and even for yourself, you know, really, you can be predicting your future and doing a self-fulfilled prophecy for good or for bad. So, why
Yes.
not do it for good? You know?
It's so, I mean, and controlling your tongue is not easy, so I don't wanna, like,
Yeah. It's a
simplify it and, like,
practice.
dumb it down because it's not easy at all. And I think the tongue is the most powerful part in our bodies,
Hmm.
and yeah, so it's not easy controlling it, but at least being aware that you have the control of it is a very first step, I think, that
Yep.
people should be aware of. Yeah.
Yeah. And it is possible,
It is.
no matter how stiff-necked you are about it.
Yeah.
There was this little reel that I created recently where it was like two versions of me talking back and forth to each other.
Oh.
Where like one I was wearing my Lay Cafe, my coffee brand, and the other one was just regular clothes. And the one with the regular clothes was like speaking doubt, speaking fear.
Mm.
People are gonna judge us. We don't know what we're doing. We don't know where to start. We're probably gonna fail. Like all the spiraling, right? That we
Yes.
all go through.
Yes.
And then my Lay Cafe version was like, but what if it works out beyond our wildest imagination?
Mm.
What if, you know, we change the world? Like, might as well try.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do it anyways.
Yeah.
Who cares if people judge us? I don't even care anymore. And what was so wild is afterwards, when I finished editing it, it's me, clearly, in both of them.
Yeah.
But I looked so much prettier
Oh, and it's real. Yes.
in the one where I was speaking life.
Yes.
And it was so intriguing to see with me objectively looking at the two different energies. I would almost encourage everyone to try to do that. Like create
Yeah.
two videos, like one where you're speaking doubt about whatever the situation is, and one where you're like, no, but what if it works out? Like you could feel, you could see.
It's visible.
Yeah.
100%
And
agree.
then that goes right back to maybe there's something you can implement with your coaching where it's
Mhm.
like have people video themselves
Ooh,
and
that's
see
actually really
like
powerful.
how they're coming across because you think you know.
But
You
you don't
don't
know.
know. This podcast has taught me a lot about myself in terms of my
Ooh,
communication
okay.
because especially with editing, right? Because the way I edit it, the final version is you only see who's talking.
Oh,
But
okay.
when I'm editing it, I can see you responding to me. And I could see when people were going to things that I said, or
Oh,
if I
okay.
interrupted them, or just ways that I came across, or
Okay.
delivery.
Yeah.
So my communication has changed because I quite literally, like
I
an
have to watch
athlete, I'm
yourself.
watching myself and I'm like, what are you doing?
I
Let me
know, like, oh, that
talk.
was so rude.
You
Yeah.
know,
Uh-huh.
so it's powerful.
That's really good. I mean, and I kind of want to step back because you asked if there's anything else. I am hosting a
Mm.
prayer board party. is in January, and I
Soon.
want to cordially invite you to, well, it's for sale. Obviously, you don't have to, but
Yeah.
I really kind of want to keep it very intimate. Like, I don't want to have more than 10 people.
Start.
And I want to like have women who are very intentional and like the ones who have the self-awareness, and maybe they're not go-getters yet. And I think that you are 100% are a go-getter, but I'm saying this to the broader audience so you don't have to be deterred. But like, yeah, like if for anybody that is wanting to or like feeling a pull from 2026, or they felt something in 2025 and they're determined to see it through in 2026, but they don't know where to start. And I will say, like, the very first step is getting around like-minded people who felt a similar pull.
Mm-hmm.
It's something about that energy. It's like something about that energy of just being in a room of people who are aware on like a spiritual level of like something is coming,
Yeah.
something is on its way. I don't know what it is, but something is there, and I want to do everything I can now to prepare for it so
Beautiful.
that I'm equipped with the tools prior to. Yeah.
Absolutely. This is speak my language.
I know.
That's
I
so
love it.
exciting. So yeah, send me all the information because
Okay.
I'll share that in the bio
Perfect.
because your episode's coming out next week. So that gives people plenty of time before the events.
Yes.
And if you're listening to this in the future, past January, so sorry for your loss, but go follow her. So let's
Yes.
let's talk about where can we find you? How can my audience support you?
So I'm on Instagram under
Mhm.
hi, I'm Jasmine, HIII underscore I am Jasmine, spelled JAZMIN. Yeah, or you can email me, Jasmine at jdwheelerstl.com. Those are the only places for right now. I feel like
Okay.
I'm on a little bit of a tour, and I'm going to like different networking events just so that I can continue to build
It's the
my
best
community.
way.
Yeah,
In person is always the best way.
100%.
But I am going to share your email and your Instagram in the bio
Okay,
so that people can reach out to you.
100%.
This has been so
I
great.
know it's been so fun.
Thank
Thanks so
you for
much. Yeah.
coming. Always a pleasure.
I know this is so
Always a
fun. It
pleasure.
is a magic in the mic.
I told you. I told
I
you.
know.
So, guys, thank you for listening or watching. If you're not currently watching, the video is on YouTube or Spotify, and I'm trying to grow my YouTube community. So, if you're not already subscribed, what are you doing with your life? Please go subscribe. Share this episode with a friend who you think would benefit. I hope you guys have a great week. Let's get it. Let's go.